I want you all to close your eyes. Close your eyes and picture yourself as a 70-year-old. Picture your life as a grandparent. You wake up to a cup of chai, take a stroll in the park, play some board games, and watch the sunset. There's no studying, no exams, no office meetings. Quite frankly, you're living your dream life. Just take a second and try to imagine it. Now, how many of you imagined yourselves alone? You can raise your hands if you did. That's right. No one, well, almost no one, I guess, wants to be lonely when they are old. No one wants to be left in a distant, high-rise apartment, reduced to occasional WhatsApp video calls. No one wants their homes to become houses, just concrete structures with no genuine human interaction. No one wants to feel like a burden to their family. But what if I told you that 15 million senior citizens in India live alone? 15 million. The grandfather who used to carry his grandson on his shoulders every day now doesn't even get a phone call from him. The grandmother who used to read bedtime stories to her granddaughter now falls asleep in silence. The grandparents who would play with you every single day now sit alone. These days, mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and feelings of worthlessness have risen sharply among seniors in India. And you may not know it, but one of those seniors may be living in your own homes. Take a moment to think about how often you speak to your own grandparents or parents. In my own life, I barely even get time to speak to my parents or my brother, let alone my grandparents. With my brother going abroad to study, I always say that distance has become the greatest challenge to communication within the family. And I kept telling myself that. I kept telling myself that distance is the challenge. Distance with my brother. Distance with my maternal grandparents who live in Jammu. But the more I told myself that, the less I believed it. Was distance really the problem, or was it my failure to include family in my everyday life? Like most students studying the IBDP, I come home, go straight to my room, shut the door, and go on my laptop. I promise you, my home could be getting robbed and I would have no idea about it. 2 rooms next to me sits my tata, or my paternal grandfather, usually singing a song from the 80s. We both live under the same roof, walk the same hallways, and eat on the same dining table. But most of the time, I used to feel like I barely even knew him. I'd always walk past his room while he quietly read the newspaper or played caroms on his phone. He'd often come into my room looking to start a conversation with me, but I'd just talk with him superficially, give him a quick smile, and then tell him I had some work. Don't get me wrong, I didn't purposely ignore him. I didn't even intend to not talk to him. It was just easy. For most of us, it's just easy. It's easy to say that we don't have time. It's easy to say that we don't have common topics to talk about. It's easy to say that, I'll just call them later when I have free time. But it's always about our convenience. The elders in our home don't need doctor's appointments or home care or full-time help. They just need one conversation with you. We binge hours of motivational videos on YouTube telling us how to live life and how to solve problems we have. Yet, sitting right across the hallway is the same person who has lived 70, 80 years of life and is waiting to share a story. Share a story about their hardships. Share a story about their struggles. Share a story about their childhood. A story about how they met their partner. You may not realize it, but that very story is the reason you are alive today. These are my grandparents. When I was younger, I would sit with my tata as he told me stories about his childhood. The same guy who now sings romantic Kishore Kumar songs told me about the day he got suspended from school and the day he left his hometown at my age to become the head of a large bank in India. He told me a story about the day he watched cricket the first time he watched cricket in a stadium without even knowing how the sport works. I used to call my Nana and Nani, my maternal grandparents. My Nana would tell me stories about migrating from Kashmir in the 90s and stories about his youth being a local political leader and going to jail, while my Nani used to talk to me about the beauty of Kashmir and share recipes of dum aloo and al yakhin, delicious Kashmiri dishes that you should definitely try. The older I grew though, the less I spoke to them. buried in the monotonous chores of my everyday life. Now that I think about it, their life is like a movie. The other day, I came across a word on the internet, sonder. Sonder means the strong feeling of realizing that every person you see has their own life story in which they are the most important person. So, how about today, after going home, you watch the movie of life in which your grandparents or parents are the stars? Speaking of watching stuff, I was recently watching a show called How I Met Your Mother, where in one of the episodes, one of the characters' fathers passed away. The entire episode focused on the last words each and every character had with their own parents. They realized that these last words were meaningless and they had each taken their dads for granted. Many of us are lucky to have grandparents and family who are still alive in our home. So I ask you, what was the last thing you spoke to them about? In India, a person is generally considered a senior citizen upon attaining the age of 60 years or above. For a senior citizen, the last few decades of their life are the most important. They have already gone through the pain of working endlessly, going through thick and thin to be able to provide for you. If they didn't work so hard, you would probably not be here listening to me speak today. It is now our responsibility to make the remaining years of their life the most memorable as possible. In my own life, I realized that I was treating time with my grandparents as something I could postpone. But like the saying goes, time flies. I realized that I had to make use of every moment I still had. Not only did I take this responsibility forward in my own life, but I tried taking this responsibility forward through an initiative, Super Seniors. My grandfather is extremely conscious about his health and fitness. Every day he wakes up in the morning and either does yoga, goes for a walk, or engages in some sort of physical activity. Health is an extremely important aspect of his life and also mine. As a gym and fitness enthusiast myself, he'd often ask me about exercises he could do, and I'd help him. But noticing the lack of physical fitness amongst his friend groups, I started Super Seniors, where 7 volunteers and I go to old age homes on Sundays, guiding over approximately 40 senior citizens in sessions on mobility, flexibility, strength training, and more. Originally, there used to be almost no interaction in these sessions. Honestly, it was really awkward. We'd go, say a one-line hello, and start demonstrating exercises to people we didn't know at all. We were really thrilled to see senior citizens in wheelchairs get up and start attempting to exercise with us. But any encouragement we provided to them always sounded kind of patronizing. It always seemed like they were judging us, but we were so wrong. It was after a few sessions that we realized the power of a simple conversation. One day, one senior told us that they had already performed the exercise that we were demonstrating to them. Curious, I inquired about how, and got to know that they all took part in a weekly yoga session. This small exchange proceeded to spark an entire conversation about what they do every day of the week. The next session, we started incorporating short memory games and impromptu games and exercises into the fitness routine. These games, which we learned in our own theater class a year ago in school, had always made us laugh, and it was also successful in making the senior citizens laugh too. There's a different kind of feeling when the sessions were filmed with warmth and smiles. We felt closer to them, and all that we did was speak to them. The Sunday before Diwali, we decided to do a painting activity instead of fitness. I was fascinated by the art produced by people at such an age, but what stuck with me more than the paintings was the conversations we got to have. This was the first chance that I got to speak to each of them individually. I spoke with one senior who told me about his childhood experience with Diwali in the streets of Delhi. I spoke with one senior who told me she hadn't painted in over 30 years, and this very someone produced this beautiful painting displayed behind me. After that session, we started doing activities like origami and twisted the boring, monotonous routine of fitness into something more creative. More importantly, we started speaking to them. I spoke with one grandmother who lost her child a few years ago and was struggling to cope with it. I spoke with someone who used to play kabaddi as a child. We spoke, we smiled, and we laughed. At the end of each session, I realized that we didn't make their day better. They ended up making our lives better. Talking with them helped me talk with my own grandparents. If I could try talking to strangers, I could definitely try talking to my own family. The importance of conversation became even more prominent in my life a couple of months ago when I found out that when our family found out that my nana or maternal grandfather had Alzheimer's disease. For those of you unfamiliar with Alzheimer's disease, Google says that it's a quote-unquote progressive neurodegenerative brain disorder and the most common cause of dementia. For me, it's a memory of my Nana when he was visiting our home in Mumbai. One day, he'd gone down to get groceries. I was watching YouTube back at home when I was interrupted by a phone call from a random stranger. My Nana had forgotten how to get home and had called me from someone else's phone for directions. He couldn't remember directions to our home, but he remembered to call me. And this moment is so profound to me because it reminded me of my value in my Nana's life. And it's memories like this which remind me of the importance of my grandparents. My Nana may forget my name sometimes, but he's still as sharp and smart as ever. He's still the same Nana who'd watch cartoons with me as a child and blows flying kisses when we call on the mobile phone every day. He's the same Nana who supports my Nani every single day. And they're the same grandparents who shower me with unconditional love. So I don't want the remaining memories of me to be when I cut the phone call because I was in the middle of my exam week. I want it to be filled with laughter, chatter, and endless conversations. One of my family's biggest takeaways with Alzheimer's disease was physical activity and rigorously testing your memory. This especially stuck with my dad, who now asks me regularly about what we had for dinner a week ago. Good one, Dad. I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. But honestly, though, more important than the memories of the past is living in the present. More important than the memories my Nana could forget is the memories he can have. Memories of my family. Memories of me. My family has always supported me with every single decision I have made. There are times where our relationships have been challenged. We have had our fair share of fights and arguments. But I swear there's something about my dining table which turns them into passionate politicians. But what I want to categorically emphasize is at the end of the day, they don't care. And neither do any of your parents or grandparents. They don't care if you bombed your office presentation. They don't care if you didn't get into your dream university. They don't care if you didn't live up to someone else's expectations. They'll still smile, feed you a motichur laddu, and tell you that they still love you. All that matters to them is that one conversation that most people never have. So today I stand before you with one message, the title of my talk: open the door or dial the number. By tonight, I want all of you to go home and open your phone, search up dad, mom, granddad, grandmom, and give them a phone call. Or open the door to their room, sit down, and talk with them for 15 minutes. Because honestly, that one small talk won't just brighten up their day, it'll spark up their entire month. Ask them about the day, or help them discover a new hobby. Ask them about the childhood memory they have that they never shared with you. You may just discover an entire new person. Just have that one conversation with them, because you'll never know when it's your last. Thank you.